To measure the foot, you use the measurement form and turn it over so that you have the patient standing on the plain side, and trace the foot using a pencil or a pen in a vertical position. Try and go between the big toe and the second toe in case we need to have a separated toe gusset. Now, have the patient remain standing as you take the measurements so that you can write the measurements exactly where they're taken. Now that's the heel measured from the apex of the heel to the anterior of the ankle arch. This is the ankle being measured in exactly the same place on the anterior of the arch. And now you'd measure the arch on the very same place that you've measured the heel and the ankle, from the same point, and marking it on the paper as to exactly where it was measured. Move the tape measure along and measure the metatarsal flange, otherwise the ball of the foot it would be called. And that's at a slight angle, so it's marked again. And now we measure the big toe so that we can give adequate allowance to have a separated toe with a gusset. It gives a much better contact at the dorsum of the foot. This shows that measuring the ankle and putting a mark on the malleoli, the distance from that measurement to the floor is noted on the measurement form, and that is the distance up to the ankle measurement. And you'll notice that the measurement from the apex of the heel to where we measured the arch is usually the very same measurement. So you've got 9 centimetres there, and you'll notice that it's usually the very same 9 centimetres up, and that gives a square section that is usually used as an insert for a heel on a sock pattern. Although we've been using this model, it's not entirely fair to imagine that our patients are going to look quite this firm and lean. Generally, people have a more protuberant front, and very often they won't have this narrow waist. In many cases they'll actually have a rather loose abdomen, and they may want to anchor their trousers rather on the pelvic area, on the hips. And particularly men would often prefer, if it's not needed further up, they'd prefer their garment to sit here rather than travelling up to a wider area to sit on their pelvis. So we would probably just measure, and we would only be able to use that much of the garment, for instance, with an elastic there, and then we would produce a pubic pouch which allows access for general toileting on the male's garment. And so those measurements would all still be vital